Welcome, everyone, to Stogie Geeks, episode number 385. I am Paul Asadorian, joined here in studio by Mr. Joe Hozempa.
How
What's up,
you
Joe?
doing? How's everything going?
Hey, it's going good, man. It's going good. Mr. Jeff Mann has joined us remotely from the cabin.
I have. The planets have finally aligned, and I could join one of these things. I signed up to do it again, I feel like a year ago.
Yeah.
I'm finally getting a chance to do it.
No,
Well,
I love
it's
it, man.
been a
I like
busy year.
it's a nice ambiance. I can hear like the crackling of the fireplace in the background. It's very soothing.
Yeah, well, it's cold in Maryland today. We got our first snow flurries a little bit while ago here. Western Maryland, they're getting a foot of snow up in the mountains. But I thought, what a perfect time to come out and put a fire in the fireplace and enjoy a Cuban cigar that I picked up overseas in Canada a couple months ago.
Nice. Which kind of Cuban cigar
One
is
of the
that?
ones we were supposed to smoke. It
And-
is a Monte Cristo Habano.
Nice. Looks like a Monte Cristo number 2. Yeah, that's Monte Cristo number 2.
You know, in Canada, they've got all sorts of weird laws about cigars.
Oh, yeah.
And all the cigars are wrapped in plain brown bands around whatever the cigar band is. So
Right.
if you don't really know the cigar, and you're like me that sometimes just look for the bands to recognize something you like, you're kind of screwed.
Right.
But it's all to defeat teenagers and underage people from going in and spending $40, $50, $60, $80 Canadian to buy a cigar.
Mm.
Because they're also heavily taxed in Canada.
Right. Yeah, they're expensive.
That's my contribution to the show. I'll just sit back now and enjoy the fire.
There you go. What's up, Mr. Joe Hozempa? How you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah.
Doing well. Smoking cigars. Thanksgiving's around the corner. It's my favorite holiday because you can drink wine and chill. You know,
Right.
as opposed to have like the Christmas
And
rush and
watch
parties
football.
and watch football and relax. So I'm looking forward to that.
It is a relaxing holiday. I agree.
Yeah, because there's no like rhetoric before. It's just like, okay, great, have a couple bottles of wine, chill out, you can be
Yeah.
with family. It's cool. Before it's
I
like,
heard on the. You know what's funny? I heard on the radio this morning. It's funny you say that. The actual radio came on before I plugged my phone in. There was on some random like radio channel. Like who listens to the radio anymore? Everyone plugs their phone in. And the radio morning DJs were like, "Oh, talking about how Denzel Washington had a 2-bottle of wine a day habit. He had a cellar with like 10,000 bottles, and had to quit drinking like 10 years ago because it was super bad for his health. He was drinking 2 bottles of wine a day. That's a lot of wine.
yeah,
I mean, when you got a cellar of
That's
10,000.
horrible as we sit here and smoke cigars, which are probably equally as bad for our health.
Right. This much is true.
That's
well,
a lot
I don't
of-
know. It could be debated.
Well,
maybe.
It depends
Maybe
on
not
the
as bad
wine.
as
I
2
mean,
bottles
wine
of
is
wine.
supposed to be good
Alcohol
for
is bad for you, man. Like, alcohol's really bad.
Yeah, but red wine is supposed to be good for your heart and stuff like that.
Right, but not at 2 bottle a
That's
day
what they
clip.
tell me.
2
2 bottles a day is 8 glasses.
Yeah.
So you know, that's why you should split it with a
I guess it
friend.
depends on how much you put in the glass.
Well, yeah, but if you get like a regular sized glass, you're supposed to fill
I
it
know
with,
you like regular, so you like a hefty bottle, a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
They
I
make
like
those
this-
glasses that can hold an entire bottle, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
That's-
we've got one of those. That's a one glass a day, but it holds the whole bottle.
you know, the worst is the one that comes out of the box. You know, the box. Some box wine is pretty decent.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Like the Bada box is pretty good. The red wines, and they last forever. So when you get them and you go, like they're supposedly like, I don't know, 3.5 bottles or something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, if you go the first day, you might have a little more, but I judge it by the glass.
Right.
You know,
but
2
you're saying that box keeps longer?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You could
Absolutely.
red stuff.
Yeah.
The white that needs to be refrigerated should be after you're done. You should put it in
Right.
the refrigerator and do all of that.
But a red not refrigerated.
Red
in a
not
box,
refrigerated on your
because there's
co-
not a lot of air that gets in there, right?
Yeah, it's a
It's
box.
a bag
It's a
inside
bag, and it
that
just goes
probably
down.
compresses as you use it and
Yep.
prevents the air from getting in.
Yep. So you know,
Technically, red wine is supposed to be served not at room temperature, but at cellar temperature.
yeah,
If you
like
have a
68,
cellar or a
66
basement,
degrees
keep
or
it
something
down
like
there.
that. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I tend to store it way colder than it needs to be. I set my wine fridge to something like, I don't know, 40 something degrees.
You know, there's
45
wine
degrees.
fridges you can get where you can set the temperature different.
I know.
depending on which
I need to
area.
up my game, man. It's just terrible. I'm
Yeah.
storing my red wine way too cold. This is a problem.
That is
We need to,
because
you
like
know-
when they're stored in cellars, you know, below ground, it's a constant temperature of like 55 degrees.
I was gonna say 55, 60 is where you should be. Yeah, for that. Look at us being all sophisticated. We don't even have Jim here with us to keep us all sophisticated. Jim McMurray couldn't make it today. I think he's traveling, but I want to give a plug to ThreatHunter.ai. If you are struggling with cybersecurity issues and you need assistance, ThreatHunter.ai and Jim and his team are the ones that you want to call and contact for that. He's very hands-on person. His team is fantastic. The technology and skills they have are amazing. He and I were talking not too long ago about some of the stuff he was working on, particularly with using AI to enhance their capabilities for threat detection and response. So make sure you head on over to ThreatHunter.ai. Check it out. Certainly, there's no shortage of cybersecurity threats out there to be combating against. I've seen a lot of big companies, those that maybe do some stock market, perhaps kind of stuff, maybe have seen some of the Fortinet, Palo Alto, Cisco. Avanti's not public, but there's a lot of public companies that they're having some issues with a lot of vulnerabilities lately. So it's been in the news. What else? Next door, Havana Cigar Club. Great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Make sure you head on over there. The last time I went in there, you know, they did have some of the Fuente Opus X. Is it an Opus X line? The pink, what is it called? Rare Pink.
The rare pinks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rare Pink. I did not pick some up the last time I was there. I'm hoping when I go over there today, there'll be some left.
Yeah, as soon as you walk in the human roads, you know.
To the right. Yeah.
There's over
there's some
there.
left. So
There's
this-
some other tasty $40, $50 treats on that table this time
Yeah,
of year
I know.
too.
It's hard this time of year. You
Yeah.
know, all that special stuff comes out. It is expensive, but Havana Cigar Club has it. We were just talking about their hours, how they're open late, and
Yeah.
someone else was asking me about this too. They're like, "Hey, I need to go buy cigars, and it's late at night, and most of like regular shops have closed, but Havana's one of the ones that'll be open."
Yeah.
And so even if you just go, a lot of people go in there and have a drink, but the humidor's still open. You can still buy cigars, right?
1 a.m.
Open till 1 a.m.
every day.
Wow. So if you need a cigar late here in Rhode Island,
In
that's
the old days, Paul, when I would come up to the studio for a podcast and come in the night before, I would hang out over there.
Yeah.
And have drinks and grab some cigars and, of course, bill it to the Stogie account. Or the
Glory days.
security
Glory
worker
days.
account, which I believe I had permission to do that. I don't think I abused the privilege.
Yeah. Permission, forgiveness, all in the same relative context.
Well,
can
you
always
know,
raise the
the
pirate
first time
flag.
you said it was okay, so I thought all the drinks were on.
Right.
that.
All the drinks were free all the time. It was great. Jeff had the ultimate experience at Havana Cigar Club. So make sure you go check them out. Look them up on Google. And it's right here in sunny Warwick, Rhode Island, which is great.
Is it
So
sunny up there today?
it's a little sunny. It was a little rainy earlier. It's sunny-ish. I don't know. There's no window. I mean, there are windows in the studio, but we keep them blocked off to control the lighting for the set. So until we can find a better solution of being able to flip that here in the studio. And one of our windows is broken. It needs to be repaired. So we've got a little bit of work to do.
The weather.
can,
t-
I'm
You
gonna
just
set up a
install
donation.
camera outside and
The
put it
weather-
on a monitor.
the weather today is, quote, from my 6-year-old son. Today is an imagination day, Dad, for weather. And I go, why is that? He goes, look, there's a rainbow on one side. It's raining on one side of the car, and it's not.
My
and
son-
it's sunny out. And I was like, yes. And he's like, then he transitions, do you know what I'm going to ask Santa for Christmas? I was like, listening ears? He's like, no.
No, definitely not that. Brad. Definitely not
So today in Rhode Island, it's an imaginative day.
it's a very imaginative day. Where was I?
But
Going?
wait,
I was
what does he want for Christmas?
Oh, I stayed on listening ears.
Okay.
Oh, we're at school. Love you. See you tonight.
make that list for Santa next week. It's fine.
We got time. Let's get through Thanksgiving first.
Yeah, let's get through Thanksgiving. Oh, I was going to introduce what we were smoking, which you're not even smoking yet.
Okay, I'll do it right now.
Dude, you should.
All right, I'll do it right now.
Because I tell you what, like, if you really like this cigar, even though I got an entire box, you may come back to me like the next time and be like, "You got like a cracker, like, scratching like a Dave Chappelle show. You got any more of those?" And I'm like, "No, I smoked the whole box, dude, because I've been smoking the crap out of them." I had a rare and unique opportunity to buy from a person's personal collection. Unfortunately, this person had passed away, and they were trying to get, provide funds for the family by selling a very prestigious, I would call it, cigar collection. In one of the items in that collection, and I just wanted to, I think I've talked about this on the show before. Normally, when I go buy from a private collection, I strike out. Like, it starts off good, and then it's just like swing and a miss, and it doesn't pan out. That's happened at least twice to me in the past. This is the third time, and the third time was the charm, where I was able to look at what was there, make an offer, have that offer accepted, go there and pay for it, and walk away with a box of Avo LE05s. The original Avo LE05, not the re-release, which is it's very interesting. Since they have re-released this Avo LE05, I can pull it up, or John, if you want to pull it up. But so the re-release, I believe, was 2018. The original release was actually in 2005 as an Avo limited edition. The box that I got, which I wish it was easier to share my screen. I wish I thought of that today. I can share this screen. I don't know what happens when I do that.
Let's find out.
We'll find out.
Joe wants to find out.
Let's
right?
find out.
So, hold on. So, I don't. Joe, keep talking. What are your thoughts on the Avo LEO5?
Pre-draw, you know how some cigar companies have different characteristics. We always say like Davidoff Hay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Padron has their own characteristic, etc. In the anniversary series, Avo to me has a freshness on the pre-draw. Like when you take the pre-draw,
Yeah.
and when you first light it up, it's a fresh scent. It's
Fresh scent.
yeah, like it's fresh.
So what do I want to do? I want to share my screen.
Yeah, it's
You think Can I share a Chrome tab? You think that'll work?
I don't know. You guys are the computer
I'm gonna
guys.
share it. All right. Hey, look at that. It looks like it's sharing it. Look at that. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
It's an Avo LE05, signed by Avo Evugian himself. It even came, if I go back one, this is the original certificate of authenticity.
Wow.
That was from the October 2nd, 2005 batch. How crazy is that?
That's
right?
awesome.
And so, yeah, it was a whole box of 25 of them. And it came with all the official things. So, like, hopefully those watching us, because I couldn't find any information about the original Avo LE05. Very little exists, largely because the results are so populated with the re-release. When you search for it, everything comes up about the re-release. So, yeah, and that's...
Yeah, and the re-release gets into the 30-year anniversary and all of that stuff.
Right.
So yeah.
Right.
Yep.
All right. So if I stop sharing, hey, look at that, it goes back. Isn't technology wonderful?
Awesome.
I think I haven't done that.
So that
with
was a
Riverside yet.
cigar, Paul, that was just released one time initially, and then they did it again later.
Yes.
Are there not some cigars that they regularly, all the manufacturers or whatever you call them, will produce them year by year by year?
Yeah, we call those
Obviously, they're
regular.
always different, like a bottle of wine, because
Yeah, different
vintage.
companies call them different things. Some call it a cabinet selection. Like this time of year, Arturo Fuente comes up with the Añejo every year. It's around Thanksgiving, the end of the year. You start getting them, and HVC has one that comes out every year. It's called the Black Friday, which, by the way, this year's awesome, perfect size. It's got some Ometepe in it. It's super cool. Definitely suggest that you can find those. And they make usually 1,500, 2,500 boxes, and they blow them out for the year, and then people look forward to them year after year. The frequent flyers like us compare last year's was better, this year's
Yeah,
was
yeah,
better,
yeah.
as you get through that there. But yeah.
So if you search for Avo LE05, what you'll get are reviews of the Avo LE05 30 years,
Right.
which was the 30-year re-release of this cigar. It looks, I mean, these don't even have bands on them. It's just a bare cigar, no band, no nothing. A little bit of like, I don't know, moldy-ish kind of stuff. I'm wiping off some of them where they were touching each other, where I think the moisture kind of got trapped, and it made a little bit of, oh, it's like mold or mineral deposits. Some would call it plume. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get into that debate. But anyway, no ban on this. The 30-year re-release has the very vibrant orange and gold and white in it, and I haven't even smoked one of these. So this was re-released in 2018. He says the original, so the first review that comes up from Half Wheel, the original Avo LEO5 was released in 2005 and packaged in relatively plain boxes that contained factory bundles of cigars. Each box was wrapped in the same way that a factory would store cigars internally, complete with the card identifying who made the cigars, etc. So that tells me like more evidence that I definitely got an original box. Not that the person I bought it from wasn't trustworthy, because they were. So, and then for the 2018, Davidoff sold the cigars with bands in more normal boxes, as I said. Yeah. Blend-wise, both versions use an Ecuadorian wrapper over a Dominican binder and Dominican fillers. The 2018 version was limited to 1,500 boxes of cigar, $15 a cigar, so about $300 a box. Yeah, 5 3/8 by 50. And yeah, and then proceeds on to the review. But again, it's really hard to find information about the original because again, it kind of just the re-release kind of takes over. So I've been smoking these a lot. They're just delicious. They're delicious. I can't tell you how they compare to the original, because if I did smoke one of the originals, I don't remember. I do remember trying to get a hold of the Avo limited editions, and I don't remember how successful I was in, I want to say Stogie Santa or someone may have had one. Someone may have given me one of the early ones, after they were out. But I don't remember. But these are good. Amazing how it's held up after all this time. It's 19 years, right? Because 05 is when we first started the Paul's Security Weekly podcast. So that's how I know.
Wow. I assume the answer is yes, but I imagine there's some sort of market for, the better cigars that people buy and store, and
Yes.
some they smoke and some they sell. Aftermarket, I guess that's the term.
I call it, private collections.
Private collection.
Because you're buying from someone's private collection, right? A lot of shops, as we said, will age cigars as well, and then kind of break them out afterwards. We talked about the Regency has like a vintage room.
I told you that my local cigar shop. I won't say the name since they're not a sponsor yet, but the guy that runs it, he'll store boxes and just pull things out every once in a while. That's how you got those. What did I buy for you earlier this year? I forget now.
Was it Twahe? Something wrong.
The Dahuahe. It was like in a black.
Oh, tube. Yeah, the Verico tubos. Those were good. Those came out in, I forget when, but.
It's like 8 or 9. We looked it up at the time.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
making
cool.
that up.
So, Joe, what? Yeah, I can't. We could look it up. But, Joe, what do you think of this so far?
Well balanced. It's well balanced. As you get going, it's almost like it comes to life. You know what I mean? Like it's getting a little bit stronger.
Like warm up a little bit.
But it is Dominican Republic, so it's not going to get like super strong. But it starts to come to life.
For 19 years being aged, the cigar still packs some punch to it. It is not aged out at all.
The retro is really where it's at. It's I'm enjoying it.
It's got this sweetness it's kind of subtle. If you're not paying too close attention, you miss it. Of course, rookie mistake. I don't mute my phone before we go on air. But that sweetness is really, really, really nice. I really have enjoyed when I smoke these to really pay attention and pick up on that sweetness.
Well, I hope that someday in the near future we get a little bit more organized and stable, and when you're sampling a cigar, you can send it out to all the co-hosts. So
I should.
even
I know.
if we're remote, we could try it as well.
Yes, it's we've done that before, and it's a huge pain in the butt. It requires
sure it is.
more
I'm
planning
sure it
than
is.
we're doing today. Like
I've
literally,
done
the
the
planning for
occasional-
today's show was sending a text to everyone and be like, "Hey, we doing a show? Everyone want to do a show today? Okay, let's go do it."
That's a Friday morning.
Yeah, it's Friday. It was the same day of the show. So that's we have day jobs get in the way, all the responsibilities. So
Tim on the chat via where am I? YouTube says, "Oh my God, finally back! Happy Thanksgiving, guys!"
yes, Happy Thanksgiving, Tim.
Happy Thanksgiving.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been enjoying smoking these. I also got a Romeo and Julieta from 2019 Cuban box of it's like a Robusto size cigar. I forget the exact size on that one. Those are really good too. Those are good like morning coffee cigars. This cigar, the Elio 5 man, you can smoke any time of the day. It's very, very versatile and very tasty. Not like out of this world though, I will say. I mean, Joe, I know you're still the jury's still out, but I'm not quite certain it would even rank in an Oasis rating. I probably should rank it right now, given I've probably smoked a dozen of them since I bought the box about a week ago, a week or two ago. I would say it's a fight Chuck, solid fight Chuck Norris for him. I didn't pay I don't want to say what I paid, but I didn't pay an exorbitant price for them. So if you do, and it's interesting how do you put a value on
Something you can't get.
the private collection and what you can't get, right? So we kind of knew what the cigar sold for when it was released in 2005. We knew with the re-release of this exact, not the exact same cigar, but the re-release of this brand in this limited edition cigar sold for $300. So we came to an agreement based on that, and it wasn't gouged. I can see this cigar. If it was one of these boxes sitting in a super high-end lounge in the vintage area, easily charging $50 a cigar. At that price, I don't think it's worth it. That's the problem when you get into these private collections and rare and vintage stuff, is you just don't know. You may have smoked that cigar when it first came out, but now it's been in, aging somewhere for this cigar for 19 years. I didn't know what that cigar was going to be. But I'm like, all right, I'm not getting price gouged. I'm not spending $1,000 for the box. So I was like, I'll roll the dice. And again, they were, trying to raise money and collect some funds to go into the person's estate who sadly passed away. So
Pipe tobaccos like that too.
Yeah.
I do web work for Wookie Pipe Tobacco, and they have an estate tin section, and it's amazing. So you get like Esoterra, which it's a $50 tin. You can get some. Okay, great. But if it was from like 2012, it's $275. And I'm like,
I have some Davidoff pipe tobacco.
Yeah.
I don't know how long ago Davidoff stopped making pipe tobacco, but boy, is that good. It doesn't go bad. I
It
mean,
does
as long as
not
you
go
keep it in a, I don't know, even if you keep it in a Ziploc bag, I feel like it'll keep, pipe tobacco will just keep forever.
yeah, keep forever.
You don't have to keep it in a humidor necessarily.
Nope.
Right?
You can put it.
Hey,
in.
is it faux pas to bring a pipe on a Stogie Geeks episode?
No.
No.
Because
Pipes are cool. We like pipes. We support pipes.
earlier this year, I'm forgetting the guy's name off the top of my head, unfortunately, but somebody saw me speak and wanted stickers, and I had run out. So I said, "Well, just give me your address. I'll mail some to you." And in the interim, these are the stickers of my talks that I've given, the Tales from the Crypt Analyst talks, which I've done 3 of them now. I went and reordered re-releases of the first 2 so I could pass out all 3. And I sent him a bunch of stickers, and in thanks, he sent me a pipe, handmade pipe from, I think he lives up in Pennsylvania somewhere. I'll have to bring it on a future episode.
Nice.
He also sent me some of the tobacco from his local store where he bought the cigar, where they made I'm sorry, the pipe.
Mm.
And I've been smoking that infrequently because it's a different kind of process to do a pipe, because I tend to smoke a lot of cigars when I'm out doing yard work, which is probably faux pas. I apologize.
No,
but
no, no, no.
I'm not smoking backwards anymore. So I'm
No, we
smoking
call
better
them the
cigars.
yard gar or yard cigar, or lawn cigar, whatever it is. Not lawn mulch. Lawn mulch is the one where you throw it in front of the lawnmower while you're mowing, because it's better off as being lawn mulch than it is smoking. That is actually a rating in our official system.
Couple of those lately.
There's a couple of those laying around, but yeah, no, yard work is great, especially this time of year. Probably has already passed when the leaves have all pretty much fallen, depending on where you are, right? My Japanese maples are still holding on. That thing will hold on for dear life until there's snow on the ground, man. It's so annoying. I got the yard all cleaned up, and I didn't do it this time. I should have, but wear the backpack blower, right? So if you're right-handed, you got your right hand on the handle with the trigger, and you're blowing the leaves, and you got your left hand free where you can be smoking a cigar. It's beautiful.
Right.
It's beautiful. So I cleaned up the whole yard, cut it nice and short, got all the leaves cleaned up, and then, my Japanese maple, I looked this morning, it just dropped about maybe 1/3 of its leaves that were left on to my grass. Yeah, I'm like,
Are you gonna wait for it to finish, or are you gonna?
no, then I go off and I clean it off a little bit. I'm like, I gotta go clean leaves. Good excuse to have a cigar, sweetie. Gotta go clean some leaves, right? Get the backpack blower on and get those off, and then the next week, it'll drop a little more, and it just becomes a thing. So, I follow a bunch of feeds on my feed reader that I've got up on the screen, and maybe we just pick some topics.
Yeah, do what you
We'll just
can do.
pluck off some topics and see where it takes us. One of the ones that I want to harp on is someone I believe this is on Reddit, so this is from Reddit, has a post, you just can't go wrong with a Padron. And I just want to say I agree with this. And that's a very broad statement. Padron obviously is one manufacturer, but has a lot of obviously different lines of cigars, ranging from fairly expensive, $30 to $40 a cigar for the ones that I really like. But you get into their 1000 series, right? And they're a lot more affordable. I haven't checked prices recently. But one of the things that I greatly appreciate about a Padron, and I can speak volumes in terms of a testament to this, is that when I'm doing a podcast, right? So I've done Paul's Security Weekly podcast for 19 years. It's a 3-hour show that gets produced once a week and has pretty much since 2005. We take weeks off and stuff like that, right? But 44 times a year I'm doing a 3-hour podcast. And I like to have a cigar while we do that podcast. And I will often reach for a Padron cigar because the construction, first, is impeccable. Also, the consistency, I know I'm going to get a great smoke. Price-wise, still a little pricey. The Padron 1964 Pyramid, I bought some of those. That's a great, that gets me through probably 2 hours of the show. That's a big cigar. 64 Pyramid, I especially like the Maduro. But it burns great the whole way through. I'm not constantly touching it up. I'm not worried about there's going to be a void or it's going to be plugged. I'm not worried about, I'm distracted during the show because this cigar's just not that great. I wish I lit something else up. And so for all those reasons, I don't think we've ever described that on the show. I've logged many hours smoking Padron cigars on the Security Podcast because of all of those reasons. There's even one years ago that we did in Larry's workshop, and I was smoking the 80th Perfecto. It's like a double Perfecto. That's what is that? The 1920 80th anniversary is the double Perfecto in the Maduro. And I got my Leatherman out, and I popped up a little tiny screwdriver that was with the Leatherman I was carrying at the time, and stuck it through the end of it right here and finished smoking it. That's how good that I did not want it to end. And it was still good right down to I smoked it down to nothing. And it was absolutely delicious. Burned my lips off in the process, but it was worth it. So I agree with that statement. How about you guys?
Go ahead, Jeff.
I agree. I've always enjoyed the Padrones that you've shared with me. I buy them every once in a while. If I'm gonna, yeah, I'm more of a budget cigar smoker, I guess. But if I'm gonna splurge, more than likely I'll grab a Padrone like you said, they're decent, they're consistent. My shop, that's one of the, I don't know what brand it was, but that's some of the ones that the guy brought out that he held for a couple years. But they're lower end, I think, just in terms of the price. They're only like 11, $12. Some of the smaller ones, but it's really good. So why not?
It's funny. The
Um,
comments are backing up what I'm saying. It may not be the best cigar you ever smoked, but it will never fail. It will always meet a baseline of quality.
No question.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's where
So
I
And I
was.
think the best cigar you ever smoke. I think if you get into the anniversary series, and the 50th one that comes in the humidor, I think in the natural is the one those are like $50 a stick.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of the best cigars I have ever smoked. The 1000 series is really good, and I do like to age those. I had a couple of boxes that were labeled like 2012, 2013 that I bought when they went on sale online years ago. Maybe it was even an auction, and labeled them, stuck them in my humidor, and I still have some left to smoke.
Yeah, with Padron, you definitely can't go wrong. Business wise, they have no sales reps. So
Amazing?
so if you have a retail shop, you they'll
You go direct, right?
you go to the trade show, and you set up an interview. You have they actually give you a PDF of some criteria that they're looking for, pictures of your shop.
Right.
I'm assuming some sales, etc. And there's a couple of check boxes there, and you meet with them, and then you can wait, and then wait a little bit more, and wait probably close to the next year's show, and then they say, hey, you want to do some business?
Yeah, you can place an order. I think you've waited long enough. You can place an
Yeah,
order.
one thing I like about Padron is, and I don't think that they get enough credit for it. They have a cigar where the wrapper is is a Connecticut wrapper. It's the Padron Damaso. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't smoke Connecticut's because they're too light. I'm like, you should probably get this. Like if I'm out in a retail shop or
Yeah.
talking to people about cigars.
The problem is they're expensive.
They are $18 Connecticut's,
Yeah,
right? So
I like-
they're $18 Connecticut's.
I do love smoking them. I love a good Connecticut in
Yeah.
the morning. Everyone
Yeah.
who's listened to the show for years knows that. But, and I've gone back to the Damaso, and I'm like, oh, it's really good. But I'm like,
It's $18.
I can
And for
find
$18, you can get an anniversary series for $2 more.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that kind of prices them out. But, to me, it shows diversity within the actual what they're known for.
Yeah.
Nicaraguan binder and filler, Nicaraguan wrap. There you go. Now you throw a undisclosed Connecticut seed from somewhere, right?
Right.
And it just brings a little bit more diversity. And if you're into that, like, if you're in the camp of, I don't really do Connecticut because I like stronger stuff, it's certainly a good treat cigar. I've always used like the anniversary series, some of the higher end Padrones, the Damasos as kind of like treats.
Yeah.
If you want to treat yourself, special occasion.
I mean, I'd go to a Davidoff Anniversario series if I was going to smoke.
Yeah, of course.
They're probably, depending on the size, it could be even more expensive than 18.
Yes, you
For
see
sure.
that. See, that's where I would go, right? If I'm
Yeah.
at a shop and I'm going to spend the $18, I'm gonna go $4 more and get a Davidoff.
Yeah.
and and I think price wise,
Price-wise and size-wise, that's a good comparison.
Yep.
Comparing the prices per size of a Padron Damaso to price per size for either an Anniversario or a Grand Cru, which are also stellar offerings. I think in terms of smoking experience, no knock on Padron, but I like the Anniversario and Grand Cru experience a little more. Although price-wise, I think you're probably going to be higher on the Davidoff end.
yeah.
Both companies, all companies have had price increases.
But it's still in that range.
Yeah.
But also now, because of the Connecticut wrapper, it's going to smoke faster. So now perceived value, right, or econometrics kicks in.
Right.
or if you want to be real technical, it's marginal utility. That's the amount of joy you get from consuming
Yes.
a project, from consuming a product. You're like, I'm gonna go with the anniversary series because it's gonna burn slower, and it's gonna and you know
I
you
like
won't be
the
disappointed.
what do they call the little short double perfecto in the Anniversario series? They just call it a double. I think there's a number associated with it. I don't have it in front of me. That's my favorite one to smoke with
Is
a
it in
cup
a
of
tube?
coffee. No, it's not in
Okay.
a tube. See, tubes I think are a ripoff. Like
Y-
I'm just gonna throw out this blanket statement.
Yeah,
You know,
but
Jeff, you mentioned earlier you were a budget cigar smoker, and I have my. There is a portion of Paul's smoking portfolio where I am also a budget cigar smoker, Jeff. And the budget cigar smoker in me, anytime I see a tubo, I'm like, nope, because there is instantly a cost per cigar
sure.
higher for you're paying for that tube, right?
Just
They're
for
not
the
giving you that
packaging.
tube for free.
But those $30 Padron tubes sure are tasty.
Yes, yes. Oh yeah, those are Padron ones have a tube and cellophane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are. I've smoked my fair share of whatever that one is too. Now I can't.
I think it's a 90.
I also-
I think
Yeah,
it's
I
a
think
90.
you're right. It's a
You know,
90. Yeah.
Padron.
Out of curiosity, if you got a cigar in a tube, in theory it's sealed. So how are you keeping it humidified?
Yeah, it's not letting any. Well, I shouldn't say any. It does let some level of moisture in, Jeff. I'm not quite
You
sure
just
just
can't.
how
You just can't
airtight.
put them in a desk drawer. You're still keeping them in your humidor, but I'm
Yeah,
kinda
I don't.
I almost
I-
feel like they should be opened if you're, especially if you're.
It's a great.
Letting them
It,
sit
it's
for
a
while.
great point and a great question. Like when you get a cigar in a tube, how resilient is that to changes in ambient temperature or humidity? Now, temperature obviously is going to make a difference. Ambient humidity is going to make a difference. I think just more slowly because it's not a perfect airtight seal, in kind of unscientifically. But if I have a cigar that's in a tube and I accidentally leave that out somewhere and I forget, like sometimes I'm like, oh, I thought I smoked the cigar in that tube, but accidentally I left it on the desk for a month, and then I open it because anytime I throw a tube out, I always make sure there's no cigar in it. Right?
Smart move.
And so I open up, I'm like, oh, there's a cigar in there. I'm like, oh, that feels kind of dry. I got to put that back in the humidor and rehumidify. Now, it's not as dried out as leaving its cigar not in a tube. So again, I think it does have some resistance to humidity changes, but not as much as you think.
But yeah,
'Cause I'm
it's a
thinking about
Padron
it.
90.
I've got a
Yeah.
cigar in a tube in my little humidor right now, and I'm thinking, yeah, I should probably just, because I'm holding on to it because I forget what it was, but it was a little bit more expensive, so it was special occasion. But I almost feel like I should take it out of the tube so it's got full
No.
access.
I would leave,
You don't
well,
think so?
I would. So here's my recommendation and advice for you, Jeff. Every once in a while, open up that
Open it.
tube, check the cigar, make sure there's no signs of humidity in either direction. Right? If it's over humidified, it'll feel spongy. It may show signs of having some mold on it. If it's under humidified, when you take it out, if the wrapper's cracking or if you squeeze it and it's kind of crunchy, that means it's not getting enough humidity. I would take them out and check them every once in a while, but I would then go put them
Okay.
back in the tube because tubes in cellophane, this is probably another somewhat controversial statement, but tubes in cellophane, in my opinion, are fantastic if you're aging cigars for a really long time because they're going to protect that cigar in your humidor. I've had a much tougher time with cigars in my humidor that I'm aging for a long time, keeping them from getting damaged, keeping them from getting too much moisture and getting mold when there's no cellophane or tube.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, because you don't realize, I think, how much it'll slosh around in a tray and how easily it can get damaged, especially like we're going into winter. My humidors are a little on the dry side right now. I need to charge them with my beads in there with some distilled water. And so if I go in there now and I start like rummaging through two trays, and I got a lot of my loose ones in the tray, like that wrapper will just start to crack and get damaged, and you don't want to do that. So
I have
be
another
careful.
curiosity question since we're talking about brands, and we'll stay in the category of the letter P. In all the years I've known you, Paul, I don't think I've ever seen you smoke this brand, and yet this particular brand has like a whole row of one wall in my local cigar shop. Perdomo. What is anybody's
Yeah.
opinions on Perdomos?
Well, I've smoked Perdomo before. How about you, Joe?
I have. I put them in the same. Here we go. I put them in the same category as the line of AJ. They're great
Yeah.
smokes at a good price point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think with Perdomo, the line is pretty vast. I can tell you from a retail shop, they sell well, right? You know, and
Well, I've asked my guy, and he's like, "Yeah, they sell. They sell really well."
you
So
kind of
that's why
have
I
to
just
hunt.
asked him.
You kind of have to hunt and peck because they have a lot of different lines. You know, the basic lines where it says, you know, Habano, Maduro, the Lot 23. Those are kind of like the entry level lines, even all the way up, in
Their
my opinion,
champagne
to the
is-
champagne.
Yeah, Champagne's their Connecticut.
Yeah, which is the 10th anniversary. But if you get into like the 20th anniversary Perdomos, the anniversary, some of the different limitadas, you can find some really good gems in there.
I think it's
Alright, so-
is it the 20th anniversary that I like? Yeah.
Yeah, the 20th, it's a box prep. Yeah, yeah.
The 20th anniversary is really good. Probably the standout one. The Lot 23 stuff, which is their Nicaraguan blend.
Yeah.
I think the other ones are also Nicaraguan as well. But Lot 23 is a different brand offering from them. And then, like Joe said, you've got your Connecticut Maduro Sun-Grown and the kind of their staple line. Champagne being that. Out of all of those, it's the 20th anniversary that I've bought before and really, really liked. I've had a couple of boxes of those and really liked them.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And it's
Yeah, a friend of
one
mine
of
a
the
couple
online
weeks ago
retailers.
actually gave me a couple of champagnes. So
Yeah.
I've got a couple of them left.
Yeah.
little-
Yeah.
Smoke those
Back
first thing in the
into
morning.
a
It's a
little
very light,
humidor
very,
bag.
very light cigar.
Yeah, basically, if you want to judge for like the novice, if it just has one band on the top, it says Perdomo. That's kind of their staple line. Usually, if it's 12-year, 10-year champagne, like you mentioned, 20-year, like Paul mentioned, it'll have two bands on it. So easy to kind of pick when you look at it.
Yep.
When
The
because
champagne
if you walk into a
does have
retail
two
shop, you
bands.
could see like 10 SKUs of Perdomo. It might
Yeah.
be a little bit overwhelming, and it's usually one side of a humidor, like a small humidor.
But it's interesting how you can
Well,
see
that's,
it
that's how it is at my shop.
Yep.
on the screen in the studio. I've got a online retailer up that I've bought Perdomos from in the past, and they all range from around $8 to $12, roughly. Some can go as high as $14.50. Some dip into the $6 range, and again, that's going to depend on the size and which one. Oh, some are even $5. Small batch, Maduro, Connecticut, and sun-grown. And could also be why a lot of retail shops are having a good time selling them, because the price point is,
The price point's phenomenal.
and what you get on that price point is a decent cigar.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Now, I thought you were going to say Gurkha, Jeff, which is kind of funny, because you probably also have not seen me
Well-
smoking a Gurkha cigar.
Same question, Gurkha. Same question, Cohiba. There's lots of standards that I see in cigar shops in my travels, and I just never. I was like, my inexact science is. I don't remember seeing Paul smoking these. I don't remember seeing these in his humidor back when the humidor was fully stocked in the studio. And so I'm like, I always go to something that I'm a little bit more familiar with, which is vast thanks to your humidor in the
So,
studio.
but I do smoke some Gurkha cigars, believe it or not. It's hard to, because they tend to change around. Like, I'll have the same name. But no, some of these are pretty consistent. So
Don't they have a series out recently, like different color bands? There's like a red, a black,
yeah,
something like that. I
they've
think
got
they're-
a lot of different offerings. They also make one of the most expensive cigars, the Royale Reserve. Is that the really expensive one?
But
No,
my
that's a
very
box. It's a
my
box.
very first time on Stogie Geeks was when you used to do the show right after PSW, and you had a guy on talking LFDs and the chisel cut Airbender.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of like that. I always look for LFDs now, because that was the first thing I encountered in
Yeah.
terms of not gas station cigars.
So I had a couple of Gurkha cigars kicking around in my humidor, and they've been in there forever. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it a shot. And I smoked a Gurkha Ghost in probably the 5x52, no, 6x54. It was 6x54 Toro size. It was really good. Now, it's been sitting in my humidor for 10 years. And so that's really good. They used to also have a line that I don't see here anymore called the Black Dragon. There's a couple of variations on the Black Dragon, and I smoked one of those, and it was good. It wasn't as good as actually the Ghost was a phenomenal cigar. I thought it was really good. So, but a lot of people hear us talking about Gurkha, and they're like, it's it's sold online, and it's not good, and it gets a bad reputation and whatever. But yeah.
They're getting into someone. I don't know. Let's see. Someone gave me. Hold on.
You got a Gurkha?
All right. By the way, if you're watching at home, all these are not planned. These discussions here. So, yeah, someone gave me this. They're getting into barrel aged, similar to like diesel. And I'm like, I don't know the size. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be that's gonna sit there for a while before I kind of commit to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the diesel barrel age stuff is pretty decent.
Diesel stuff is
diesel. I'm very impressed with diesel. But
someone a long time ago went to because I think a lot of these cigars get labeled like they're from Cigars International. Cigars International what do they call it? The Big Smoke in Pennsylvania, where Cigars International is like a big thing they have, and you get a bunch of cigars. And someone came back and said they really like the diesel stuff.
Sounds like a future Stogie Geeks field trip should be arranged.
Yes, for
I
sure.
think we could all do Pennsylvania a lot easier than the big show in Vegas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is true. I'm going to Pennsylvania next month too. Well, I'll
What
be in
part?
Philadelphia, but I'll be in Philly.
Let
Go
me
if
know
I can get a
when you're
cheesesteak.
down there.
it's a fun town to knock around in.
Yeah,
2 days is good in Philly.
I'm only doing one night.
Yeah,
I'm
two
just going
days.
in and out,
Yeah. It's like Vegas, 4. You know what I mean? After 4, it's time to fly home.
Longest burning
I have a
cigar.
daughter that
What's
lives
your?
in Philly? So there.
Oh, there you go. What's your longest burning cigar?
Hoya de Nicaragua, Antonio.
Yeah, that is a long.
That
burner,
is a
huh?
long, no matter regardless.
I
of it.
haven't. I haven't smoked one of those in a long time.
Those are
I used to buy
awesome.
boxes of
Yeah,
those.
those are awesome.
They used to have a size that was like a Bellicoso
Yeah.
size in that line, and we would buy them by the box.
Yeah.
And they were delicious.
Yeah,
I don't-
torpedo, right? Torpedo.
Yeah.
Yeah, torpedo. Yeah.
Do they still make those?
Yes, they do, and they sell pretty decently. I mean,
Strong cigar. You want a strong
yeah,
cigar.
you want a
that's
strong
your-
cigar
right.
that's
At
a
good
2.5
price point.
hour smoke. Like we're talking 12, maybe $13 tops, $12.95. You want a good cigar, guaranteed over 2 hours, slow burning. Hoya de Nicaragua, Antonio.
It's the Antonio,
Yep.
right?
Yep, Antonio.
Antonio 1970.
Yep.
And what is the size? Robusto, Grande, Gordo.
The Bellicoso, 60 by 54.
Bellicoso.
Yep.
It's Bellicoso. Yep. 6x54. MSRP online is around $200 a box for a box of 20.
Nah, it's $10 a piece.
Yeah. Yeah. Not bad. And that you're saying that's one of your
Slow burning. Slow burning,
burning.
heavy.
longest burning. This is longest burning,
Oh.
not so longest burning. People are saying like Monte Cristo. We got a 6x60 CAO flathead. I think that's the one I really like.
Those are the ones you gave.
Yeah, we've had. There's like a box press to them.
Yeah.
That's a good long cigar. I've smoked a couple of those on the podcast too.
You said that last you like three hours. You went to a barbecue. or
Yeah,
something like
dude.
that.
And I've smoked them on the show too. I'm like, the cigar just lasts forever and it's good the whole way through. Partagas Lusitania is another really long. That's a Cuban cigar, long smoke. Yep. I like the. I don't know if they're still. Are they still making the Phil? What was Phil's Phil, the motorcycle guy. He did the Indian. Used to do Indian.
Zangy?
Yeah, Zangi.
Indian motorcycle. Yeah.
Yeah, but what was his other line was
Debonair.
called Debonair, and he made a Debonair A size cigar, and it doesn't smoke like an A size cigar. Like it's not. Sometimes you smoke a really big cigar and it's kind of like a chore. You're like, oh, yeah, it's just I'm like powering through it, right? Like Joe, you're a Busto guy. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But the A size smoked like you were smoking a Toro. Like it didn't feel, and it's hard to describe. Like it didn't feel overbearing. That's probably one of my favorite. Do they still make those? Debonair cigars. I think they still make them.
Now, my struggle in answering this question is I don't pay that close attention to what I smoke. But the one I can think of that's a pretty good long smoke that I've had is the Illusion. Is it the one in the black tube, MJ88
Yeah.
or something
Yep.
like that?
MJ12.
MJ12. Yep.
Yep.
Something along those lines.
Yep.
MJ12.
Yeah,
I
MJ12.
mean, I've
It's a good stick.
gotten
Yeah.
over 2 hours out of those things. And it's solid.
Yeah, definitely. That is a solid stick.
But, there's a lot of cigars that I like that I just rarely find them. Like Indian Motorcycle, I love them when I can find them, but I hardly ever find them.
Yeah, there's like one shop that I know of in Rhode Island that has those.
You know, the Debonair Habano Salomon was one of my favorite cigars. And I had a box of those, and I sat on them for a while, and then I started smoking them. Like, oh my God, this is one of the best cigars I've had in a long time. And yeah, they're still making them. I'm going to have to pick up a box. My Christmas gifts to myself. That Salomon was delicious. And especially if you age that sucker.
So if you're looking for a specific box, Paul, are you going online to get it?
Yeah, because I actually some of the if I can find it locally, Jeff, I'll get it locally. But a lot of times it's very random what local cigar shops are stocking, and it changes constantly. So, like for a while, certain cigars I really liked, they're like, oh no, we're not carrying that right now. But then like a year later, they're like, oh no, we carry that in stock now. I'm like, well, sweet. I'll take a box. Yeah, absolutely. Rather give my money to the local shop. Even if the prices are, one way or the other or whatever, I definitely like to give my business to the local shops. And the cigars
I
don't
want
have
to say I
to,
was in a shop last weekend, and I want to say it was an LFD, and it was, I don't know what the size is called, but the thing had to be a foot long. Is that a
Yes.
particular size?
I was gonna actually funny you say that, Jeff. This is the one I've talked about on the show before, where it was a LFD like A-sized cigar. I don't remember. It is massive. It's like a foot long. It's like an 11 by 52.
Literally,
Yeah.
it's a foot long.
It's hard. A lot of their cigars that I remember, kind of like back in the day, they don't make those LFD ones anymore. Like they make the 1994. It looks like they still make the Airbender, the Chisels. They came out with new ones, Andalusian Bull and the Lennox, which are both very, very good. Their staple line is the double Lajero. But they've had some special ones in the past that have just been amazing. And two stick
There's
out
that
to me.
one
One
that
is the A. It's the A. And the other one was a
There's
double
one that
Diadema.
they have. Okay. I think it's called a Special. It's one that I've smoked a couple times on the podcast, and you've seen it, and you think I'm smoking a Davidoff because it's got a white band.
Yeah.
And I think I gave you one at some point.
Is it Kappa Especial?
Yeah,
Jeff Kappa,
that
CAPA,
sounds right.
Especial, a white label. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a Tatuaje.
They come in a couple different sizes.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
not Tatuaje. This is LFD.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to go online and see if I
On
can find it.
LFD stuff, this is a Stogie Geek show. I like the Lido Gomez cabinet stuff.
Yeah.
Like
good too.
that's like
Yeah.
it's some of it's on Band-Aid. It comes in boxes of 50, so it's very hard for retailers to even present that.
Right. So it says an LFD Lajero A is a 9.5 by 47. But I want to say they've made ones even bigger. The other one that I loved that they don't make anymore was a double Diadema, and it was a double coffin. You remember this one? Double Diadema. I don't even know if... Diadema Duo. That's what it is. Yes.
LFD Reserva Especial.
Oh, the one with the little hot. Oh
Robusto.
my god. Yeah, it's 2011, dude.
2011.
Oh my
Diadema Duo
Yeah.
was a coffin with 2 cigars in it. And let's see if they list the sizes here.
It would scroll down in the middle usually.
It seems Diadema's Duo. Diadema's Duo. See, I didn't search for the right thing though. I was calling it something different. The Diadema's Duo may be one of the best large cigars that I've ever smoked in my life. And I don't think they make them anymore.
I dropped the one I'm talking about in the chat. Reserva Especial.
Let's see. Is that going to work? Oh, wait. Cigar Brief. No, that's linking to junk. I can't find it now. Oh, wait. Here's a forum posting with a certificate error on it. What is this? Tumblr. Yeah, someone with a picture of it, but no size. Yeah, they only made them for a short period of time. And, yeah, it's not great. I'd have to do a lot more searching for them. But they were massive. They were absolutely massive. And they probably came out in 2011. And I have pictures of me smoking it on a show. And it's just really awesome. Jeff, sorry, you put something in the chat here. That's on my other computer. That's on this
Yeah,
computer.
that's the one that I found. Reserva Especial from LFD. It's got a
Yeah,
white
that's one of their
band.
like staple lines, right? Oh no, okay. So yeah, this is the one with the white band. Well, you're right. I think you're smoking a
You think I'm
Davidoff.
smoking a Davidoff? Yeah. They're really good. They're solid.
Oh, and they make them in the El Jaco size, which is that small 4.5 by 54. They used to make one. I think they still do, called the El Jaco. In like the regular line, El Jaco. But this is a dark brown Connecticut broadleaf, a Reserva Especial. And you like those, huh, Jeff? I have to check those out.
I was gonna say I see those and I just kind of like bypass them,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh,
So
we'll try one sometime. Let me
I will have one before Wednesday.
All right, sounds good.
Where else do we want to go? What else is looking good for topics up here, Joe? You pick now. Oh, there was one about a Fuente. The Purple Rain.
Do
Special
control F.
Fuente. No.
Do control F on your screen and then type it in.
Yeah. No, I mean, we don't necessarily talk about it. I just saw it in there. I thought it was interesting. Placencia is a cool line too. I feel like I'm still navigating that line. They're kind of pricey.
Pricey, but like every shop at every level. Like I'm gonna say you have one here in Warwick, you have another one in Coventry,
Yep.
you have another one in Middletown, Rhode Island, you have another one in Warren, Rhode Island, and say East Providence, Rhode Island, and they all do very well with the Placencia line.
It's a little
And those
kind
are
of like
18
more premium. Yeah,
Those
premium.
are $18 sticks, and they do very well with them.
I think I haven't found the right blend with the right size yet in Placencia.
Yeah.
I haven't found my go-to. I'm still kind of searching for it, but it's an expensive endeavor.
It
You know?
is. It is.
Lots of stuff on humidors. Some more Fuente stuff happening out there. Maya Selva, wow. I haven't heard about that brand in a long
They're
time.
still around. She's still around. Oh, good stuff.
She had some amazing,
Yes.
amazing cigars.
Yep.
But they don't. Do they sell them? They don't. Where do they sell them?
Fort Lauderdale. That I know
okay.
of.
Yeah, Florida, right?
Fort Lauderdale. If I want to buy a set, because I'm not into like hunting and pecking, but I can tell you in Rhode Island you will not find one. But
Flor de Selva is her,
it's
the staple line?
Yep. Yep.
and it's kind of it's very we like to say Cuban-esque, right?
Yep.
Debut Flor de Selva, new packaging.
They are
Flor de
phenomenal.
Selva number 20. That looks like reminds me of what I would smoke for a Flor de Selva.
Yeah, they are phenomenal with red wine.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not overly priced. I
15
mean,
bucks. Well, this was an older one. This is 2015. We're talking.
yeah.
This review is from 2015. But yeah, great. Again, Cubanesque, medium bodied, packed with flavor.
Yep. Tons of flavor.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to seek some of those out now. That I say that. See, this is why we need to go through stuff. I get reminded of stuff that I really forgot that I liked, and because I don't see it locally or in some of the online shops. I tend to shop in the same places, so gotta broaden my horizons. Um, what else? We talked about Padrones. What is that? Weller by Cohiba.
Hey, I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
To dovetail on what Joe said, are there your top 3 to 5 cigars that you will automatically walk past when you see them in a shop?
Well,
Things
here
that we
it's
should-
funny. There's
things
one
that
up
we
on my
should
screen
avoid.
right now.
Yeah.
There's one up on my screen right now.
See, okay, go ahead. I know. Okay.
Arturo Fuente Hemingway Between the Lines. And this
Mhm.
is kind of touted as one of the rare Fuente cigars that are out there. And I've bought several of them over the years. And every time I smoke one, I'm like, well, that cigar just isn't that great. Like, it's just not that great. Maybe because my expectations are high because it is a somewhat limited. And it has that barber pole wrapper on a between on a what do you call that size? The classic like short perfecto size from Fuente. What do they call that? Hemingway. What do they call that? I'll find it. It'll come to me. Someone's screaming that it's listening to the show.
Fill in, Joe. What do you automatically walk past?
I walk past I walk past AJ. I walk past La Aurora. Say in the past 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, I walk past La Aurora. I'll walk past.
Have you tried the La Auroras that have sort of a goldish color to their bands? I forget.
Yeah,
what
they
the
came up
series
with a
is.
couple of anniversary series.
My
I've
Cigar
walked,
Shop.
I've had a few. Like I probably had like 4 over the past say 6 months. But I generally walk past them.
They're my go-to yard gar.
Mm-hmm. You know,
'Cause they're cheap.
I do walk past Podomo. I'll walk past some of the like some of the newer stuff from like Romeo, like because they had Placencia roll a Nicaraguan stick for them. I've walked past some of those. I'll walk past definitely like an Upman, HP Upman. They came up with a couple new SKUs. One's a day trader, one it's a spin-off of the banker and all of that stuff. I've walked past those. Usually when I start walking past them, the different cigar shop owners are like, this been here for a while. You haven't had it. I'm like, yeah, I did a recent story, and I will end with this. I've walked past the Trinidad for a while. There's a new Trinidad that came out there. It's a rebrand, and let me tell you something. I'm glad the owner pulled me aside and said, "Smoke this." Like, I think I'm like, okay, but I've in the past, and then I've gotten back. So that's why it's good to make friends with your retailer, because if you start having conversations and they start getting an idea of your palate, they can kind of help you not walk, which is what their job is, right? It's to guide you through what's in the humidor. Try this, try that. But yeah, those are some of the brands that I used to that I've walked past over.
I do tend to walk past, and I like a lot of cigars from like General Cigar and the kind of classic Cuban brands, Cohiba, Romeo and Julieta. in a lot of those. But I do like the stuff that they were sending us as samples, which is like some of their newer blends. Some of that stuff is absolutely phenomenal. I've talked about some of the ones I've really liked from that. But typically in a shop, they've got it's kind of like that staple set of, like every cigar shop has to have the staple set of like regular Cohibas, regular Romeo and Julietas. And not to say that I don't like some of them, but typically the shops, Jeff, like they don't have the ones that I like from that. And I'll give you an example. It's the Romeo and Julieta vintage, I believe.
Yeah, the 1875.
No, it's a vintage. Maybe I might be getting the brand wrong, but I swear was it a Romeo or was it another? What is the other brand? Damn it. Was it a Romeo vintage? I don't think it was Romeo. Now I'm saying
I feel like Rocky Patel has a vintage.
there's a lot of vintage.
Yeah, there's a lot of vintage go flying around.
a lot of vintage. that may not have been it. It may have been another brand. No, maybe it was a vintage number 6 Bellicoso. Yeah, it was a vintage number 6 Bellicoso. And I can't find them anywhere. Look, they're even in this online shop I went to, and they're out of stock. Vintage, yeah, and it's like a 60 ring, but it's tapered Bellicoso. And Stogie Santa had given me one years ago, and I was like, well, that was really good. It's a Connecticut cigar. And then I bought a couple of boxes that I had found online on sale because they're pretty pricey. Retail price is like $300 a box or so. But oftentimes, again, like in a shop, they won't carry that size. They'll have the Romeo and Julieta vintage, but it won't be the number 6. It's usually like every other size but the number 6. I think because the number 6 carries a higher price tag and they don't sell. But like the number 6 is where it's at in that line. It's one of my favorite morning cigars. Yeah. So I suppose we should wrap. I think that's we covered a lot of ground. I kind of like the format where we just kind of peruse through my cigar feeds and kind of pick out topics that are interesting. That was a good one. So thank you both, and thank you everyone for listening and watching this edition of the Stogie Geek Show. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Over and out.